Recently, we had the good fortune of playing the Absolver beta, and one of our users, with some handy computer skills, managed to get into the game's files and find all the images of all the weapons and armor there. They were then submitted to us, and not only did we manage to get them into the wiki, we'd also like to share them here with everyone. Please keep in mind that these were in the game's files of the beta version, and there may be more coming with the full game, but this is most likely the majority of them. We'll start with the weapons, of which there are two types, war gloves and swords. These items require shards in order to use, and they can be disarmed through repeated attacks, but do more damage than unarmed combat. Both weapon types deal some blunt and cut damage, with the total amount varying from weapon to weapon, but they will fall on a slider that looks like this. War gloves can be equipped by the player by using shards as mentioned above. War gloves deal more blunt damage than swords usually, but can also deal quite a bit of cut damage. Players remain using their current combos with war gloves equipped, while players using swords have a varied moveset. Below are all the war gloves found in the game's code. Swords also require shards to use, and it is expected that some swords will require more than others depending on their statistics. As with war gloves, swords deal both blunt and cut damage, but deal more cut damage usually, which is the opposite of them. Players' movesets change when wielding a sword, so you'll have to learn the moves of the sword you like best. Below are the swords found in the game's code. Armor in Absolver isn't just about protection from blunt and cut damage, it's also about style and appearance. Fashion Absolver, anyone? Appearing intimidating to your opponent, or perhaps eccentric based on what you're donned in, is part of the psychological aspect of the game. Be careful when taking on Absolvers who are wearing something you've never seen before. You just don't know where, why, or how they got it. Masks covering the entire face are something that is extremely unique to Absolver and one that many players are excited for. It's hard not to see why either after you've looked at them. Some of them look badass and others seem like they were designed for those special trolls out there. You know who you are. Masks also provide protection against blunt and cut damage, making them important to withstanding opponents. All of the following were found in the game's files. Absolver features sets of gear that have a similar pattern or style to them. It isn't known if they possess any current bonuses, but each piece has its own statistics and resistances. Players are free to mix and match as they see fit, and there are no restrictions. Just be careful not to weigh yourself down too much, or you'll move slowly. Often crafted in Tower Point, Rizran armor is usually simple and durable. Worn by experienced or high-ranking Absolvers, this armor commands respect when in pagan lands. Worn by hunters of New Forest, this armor pays homage to the forest and animals within. Both tribe and rank can be distinguished by the subtle differences of the hunter's attire. Protective armor worn by miners who toil away searching for knowledge and essence. Sturdy leather and plate armor crafted in Ripa help protect from any type of damage. This armor is particularly useful to windfall practitioners. Leather and metal made to protect from the harsh rocky conditions of the tier. This armor is only worn by the trappers who live there. Stylish armor worn by the Shabu guard of the Orate Empress, Kahina. Provides excellent protection without being an eyesore. Worn by chieftains of the tier, this armor is made often with fur and metal. You can sometimes find the symbol of their tribe imprinted directly into the metal. This armor is worn by a chosen few who monitor the Orate divination pendulums. Provides good protection to those seeking greater knowledge. Wool, cloth, and leather make up the bulk of this armor, created for the riders of U-Ring, to keep them warm on cold nights. Leather and metal make up this armor, but the chest is left nearly bare, as is typical of Tiran fashion. Worn by men and women of the Oratian aristocracy, this armor is both stylish and effective. Standard attire given to ill-equipped prospect volunteers. The calves are bound tightly to make traversing the marshes of Adal easier. This armor is only worn by forest callers, and their attire tells the story of each's life. Some say the feathers they wear were given freely by the birds of the forest. Made of leather and worn by the tribes in Ripa, this armor serves to protect its wearer not only in combat, but also from the extreme desert heat. Stay tuned for more coverage of Absolver as its launch is just 2 weeks away. Be sure to check out the wiki for all those nitty-gritty details you could possibly want. We'll be filling it just as fast as we can.